Alright boys, this is the first mini pull. Fuck! She rips! Alright, I'm gonna try to get one really good rip in. Ready? Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years since I posted a video. My life's been pretty crazy. I just had a baby 9 months ago. Got married. I have 2 stepkids now. And I moved across the country to my dream state, Oregon. So, a lot has changed. I also left active duty, military. I'm now in the National Guard. So, here is my new garage. We got the OBS sitting over there. I have a lot done to that now. Last time you guys saw it, I think it was still just a chassis. And then here's the Mustang. Still stock as can be. But we're gonna change that because I finally bought parts for this thing. My wife let me buy a supercharger kit. So we finally got the supercharger kit. And I got the long tube Kooks headers right here. And then in that one I have the X-pipe with the high flow green cats. I think it's gonna be too loud without it, so I'm gonna run the cats. We'll see how it is. If we end up wanting to get more power out of it, you can always take it off later on. I mean, right now the motor's not built, so it's gonna be kind of limited anyway. So we're probably gonna hopefully be around that 500 wheel, 550 wheel if we're lucky. We'll see. But today, I'm going to just kind of get into it. I'm not gonna like ramble on. We're gonna start installing the headers and the mid pipe. So I'm going to try to see how much I can get done. I don't know how much she's gonna let me do. Right now I'm like home on leave because my wife just had a major surgery, so I have some time to start doing some things. So we're gonna try to attempt this. I know this is a pretty lengthy job, so I'm probably not gonna be able to finish it all in one day, but we're gonna get into it, and later on maybe I'll kind of talk about what else is going on in my life. But let's get into this. Also, before I really get into this, I wanted to say thank you for the 1,000 subs. That's kind of what made me like really want to pick up the camera again, because it's been a long time since I've actually filmed, and I kind of lost a lot of motivation to do this. But now that we've reached 1,000 subs, hopefully things will start to kind of like tumble a little bit more. Maybe we can do a lot more videos, hopefully, and kind of see what the car scene's like over here on the West Coast. And yeah, let's get into this install now. Alright, before we really start diving into this and installing these and that mid pipe, I'm going to just do one last cold start with this, just so you know what's on the car right now. Everything is stock, except the Corsa Extremes. So that's literally the only thing done to this exhaust right now is just the Corsa Extreme axle backs, and I just haven't been able to finish the rest. So now that we finally got that, let's do one last cold start with this. I'm gonna clip in what it was like with the stock axle back, just so you have a comparison, and then obviously we'll clip in what it's like with the new long tubes, because this thing's probably going to be extremely loud. It already has an amazing tone with just the Corsas, but it's just like it's just not loud enough. But also with the supercharger, the gains from it are gonna be a lot better. So let's get this cold start, and then we're gonna start diving into this. And just so you guys know, this is not gonna be like an official like how-to video. I'm just gonna show you my experience of putting these on. I know this is a very lengthy job to do, but I'm just gonna show you the things I've run into, and somebody that's just trying to do this on his own, not a lot of experience. So this is gonna be the most major thing I probably ever done. And along with installing that supercharger, that's definitely gonna be a very lengthy job. I know there's a lot to do with it. So we're gonna get into this. So I'm just gonna go over kind of like what my plan is right now to start this. We're gonna remove this air box, give us more room. We gotta remove the dipstick. I'm going to remove the battery and the battery tray. It seems like it's gonna give you a lot more space to work to get that header out. I don't know if you have to do that, but I'm going to. And what else? Obviously loosen the header bolts. So I'm gonna try to go to the top, get the top ones, and then once I get underneath, I'll get the bottoms. And then I believe the only other thing I gotta do is take the steering shaft off, take the starter off, and then I gotta jack the motor up a little bit and get the motor mounts out of the way because they block the header. So I'm gonna start getting into this, start tearing it down, and show you guys like where I'm at. You gotta do what you gotta do to work. Alright, I'm just gonna give a little progress update because I've been really bad about filming. So we got all the top manifold, all the nuts came off. We got those. Some of them were a little harder than others. We had a bunch of ratchets and different jerry rigs that we were making just to get this to work. So we got those. Got the ones on this side, so all those are done. Got the starter out, so we should have room there. I took both the motor mount nuts off. I think the only other thing we got to do is take the steering shaft off, which I got. If you can see it, it's really tough to see, but right on the top, this bolt was sitting there. So I got that one, and I just got to get the one on the bottom. So I just need to get something to mark it. I can't find anything right now. Just to mark the orientation of the shaft, and then we should be able to pull that out. And then I think we're ready to finally take out the manifolds, besides getting those motor mount brackets off because they're going to be in the way. So I think we're almost there. Alright, so we're under the car right now. I got one of these off. I just need to get the other one to get it off the manifold. But I need to find another swivel or buy one. I got this one, same problem with that one. And then we're going to disconnect the O2s. So there's one right here, there's one right here. And it's literally just a tab. You press this down and just pull it out. And then we have to mess with the shaft. Just so that, because if you can see the headers right here, and that shaft is in the way, so there's not going to be any clearance to pull this out. I've already disconnected the top motor mounts, so we're going to disconnect these two right here. We got to move the starter because it's also in the way. And then here's the other motor mount. We got to get that one and that one. And after that, it's just getting the manifolds off. So we're getting there. All right, car's jacked up. We're going to get these four. Pop this little tab off, slide these out. I had to improvise because I can't reach. But I forgot to get this one before I raised the car. So if you see this O2, it's kind of like right behind, but I couldn't get it from underneath. So that's out, and then that should be it. Alright, so I officially got those two bolts out and the ones over there. These are all done, so we should be able to just knock these back and then slide this right out. So I'm gonna attempt that. Hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know. All right, should be able to just, here we go. There we go. All right, we got it out. A little messy, but we got it. Alright, just to show, I don't know if you can see my marking, but we marked the shaft. I got the top bolt done. I'm now getting the bottom one. I already broke it loose. The only thing left we got to do is get these motor mounts off on this side and this side. I already took the starter out, and then just get these last manifold bolts off, and then we're finally gonna get them out. So we're almost there. Finally got it. Let's go. Oh my gosh. What a pain in the ass. Alright, just got the one gasket off. I'm gonna get this one. Come on. There we go. Now we just gotta get these studs out, clean this up a little bit. This is how I jacked it up. You can kind of see it. I was having a lot of issues with this. I guess I had that car jacked too high because I couldn't get these to clear. Alright, I finally got this manifold off, but I had a problem with these studs. I had two studs that got stuck. So we had to put the two nuts on here and get it out. So like on the top, I was able to get a socket for the other two, or like the rest of them. But these last two, they just stripped out on me, so I just couldn't get it. but we finally got them all off. So now we're gonna clean that up and then get that first header on. Which here are these headers. I haven't shown them yet. They look really nice. And then here's the stock manifold. These should make a huge difference. I'm excited. I don't know if you could see them, but I want to make sure this is all clean because I do not want to do this job again because it kind of sucks. But we're going to just take some Scotch-Brite, which looks like this right here, and we're going to just fucking start going like this because it won't scratch this all up, and it should clean it all up pretty good. You can already see me barely doing it, but we're going to get down to doing that and then hopefully get this header on. Alright, mocked up the gasket. We're going to attempt to get the header on. I have a feeling it's going to be a little fun. I'm going to try to get as much of it filmed. Alright, so I got the left side in. I just need to tighten up a few of these bolts, but they're just hard to reach. I really need a ratcheting wrench. I'm going to start on this side. Basically the manifold's already off, and then we're going to clean that up and get this one on. Alright, here's the second one. Of course it's stuck now. Alright, both headers are finally in. Starter's back in. Steering shaft is in. Motor mounts are torqued and in. I think now we're basically done. And we're gonna get the mid pipe on finally. We're finally gonna get the mid pipe in. Here's the stock one. Look how ugly it is. Ooh. Almost done. Alright, this is gonna be the first start with the headers. Alright boys, that's going to end the first one back. I need to try to figure out how to like get back into this, but it's kind of hard. I didn't really rag on the car too much because I got a supercharger. Finally. We're finally going to do something to this car. So my wife let me get the supercharger. It's a Department of Boost. It's got the Eaton M122. That's on the 07 to 09 GT500s. I've heard really good things about them. I actually bought it off of somebody in the group, and he gave me a great deal on it, so she actually let me get it, and I kind of am just ready to just tear this thing apart and get into it. So I didn't really rag on the car because I didn't get this tuned, because I knew I was going to do that. So I'm going to start taking apart that and showing you, I guess, my progress with that. But yeah, I really didn't want to get the car tuned twice and pay for that twice, so I figured I basically just wanted to run the car once just to see what it was like with the long tubes. So now that we did that, I'm going to start tearing this apart and getting the supercharger on. These long tubes were such a pain that it's not for the weak. If you really don't know what you're doing, don't do them, because they're really a pain to get on. Like, I just ran into so many issues getting these on. It took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. And like, this one bolt, just the way the header was bent, really stubborn. I really had to figure out what I was going to do to get it. I finally got it though. And then all my O2 sensors, I couldn't get any of them out. And I was told I should just get all new ones. They're probably the original O2 sensors. And the car is, what, 19 years old now? So I just replaced all those with the NGK ones. Lido told me to get those, so I got those. I'm still throwing a check engine light, so I'm going to run the code just to see what it is. It's probably something with that. It doesn't smell rich anymore. I was worried I had an exhaust leak at first. Luckily we don't. After replacing the O2 sensors, everything seems okay. So hopefully we're all good. Yeah, but if you want to do long tubes, I definitely suggest getting a lift. Don't do it on the ground. It really was a pain. and really have a bunch of tools, because you really do need them. There really is a lot of things and not a lot of space to work underneath there, and it really is a pain. I can't tell you how many times I lowered and raised the car and lowered and raised the motor, just because me having a low profile jack, just trying to get the angle to get them to clear the motor mounts, I just could not get it. It took a lot of finagling to get these on, but I'm very glad they're done, and they sound awesome. I really am very happy with like how everything sounds. I think the Corsa Extreme sound really good with the Kooks, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I was very all over the place. I really didn't expect this to be as hard as it was, but it really was a very difficult thing, because I had my newborn. She was just crying. She didn't let me work, and my wife just had surgery, so I couldn't really like tell her to watch the baby for me to just like sit there and do this. And since we just moved, we don't really know too many people around here, so it was really hard to like just sit here and work constantly. But we got it. We're done. Now we're going to attempt the supercharger. I hope I don't run into as many issues with that, and I'm going to try to show you how I do it. I'm not really going to do like a step-by-step, but I'm going to try to show you like what I'm going through and the things that I'm running into. Kind of what I did with this video, because I know this video did not show you every single thing that I did and all the things that I ran into, but I really did run into a lot of problems. So just really, you really got to think outside the box with certain things. Just, yeah. But I appreciate the 1,000 subs that we reached finally. I'm going to try to start really posting a lot more on here and TikTok. And I hope you guys support the channel, and I hope we get this thing boosted really soon, and you guys tune in for that. I appreciate it. Peace. We're gonna boost this car. Let's fucking go!